Hi, I'm Diane Dayton. We're at the 33rd Annual Berks Jazz Fest, Reading, Pennsylvania. It is that final weekend. Yes, it is, and it's Saturday. And boy, I'm with Rebecca Jade, and you are amazing.
Thank you so much.
You are so amazing.
Thank you.
You have quite a background. You grew up in a musical family, right? So that heavily influenced what you do. Tell me just a little bit about that.
Sure, yeah. My mom's a singer. She actually started, I think, early on singing a lot of jazz. So she gave me a big influence from very young age of just, sharing her love of music with me.
Right.
And so she used to sing with her dad and her brother. And I also get musical influences from my dad, too. So he sings a little bit, not professionally, but he can hold a note, and he used to play saxophone, and then his mother played piano and accordion. So I get the music from both sides.
Yeah, you really do. So I find it interesting. You went to UC Berkeley.
I did.
Full basketball scholarship.
I did, yes.
Tell me about that.
Go Bears, go Bears.
Yeah.
Yes. So my whole life I was very much involved in the arts and in sports. That was my whole life. I kind of didn't know really what my path was going to be. That's how much I was involved in both of them. And athletic, I just was always just naturally athletic. So I picked up basketball in high school. I never even played it before high school. And then I took to it really well. And thank you. And so much so that, but I still had the love for music. So I was working in high school, was playing basketball, and in off season I was working on a record deal, trying to get a record deal with the girl group, before basketball games I would sing the national anthem. Like it was very much like this dichotomous life of like both the arts, and I just really didn't know which direction I was going to go. But once I went to high school, and then I graduated, I wasn't quite ready to jump into going to college, even though I had gotten offers. So I took a year off, tried to kind of reevaluate my life, and then I realized, you know what, I can work anytime. I said, but right now I can play basketball, which I loved very much, and I really focused on school, and then was able to earn a full scholarship. So I went to junior college for 2 years, and then finished my undergrad degree at Berkeley.
Yeah. So you found your joys.
Yes.
Didn't you? And you pursued both of them as well.
Yeah.
So what would you consider your first professional gig?
Musically?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I had one prior to. I had always been involved musically, but I didn't jump into music as a profession until after college. Okay. So I joined my mentor. His name's Kamal Kenyatta. He lives in San Diego, but he's from Detroit, so you can imagine the musical richness that he just embodies by just existing. And he took me under his wing, and actually his band was the first band I ever performed with. And he was so kind to me way back then. He believed in me so much that the gig would pay whatever amount, and I wasn't even supposed to be on the gig, but he wanted me to have the experience of performing with a band. So he would pay me out of his own pocket just so I could be there and have perform with the band. I had never done that at that time. So I was probably about 22. So I feel like I kind of came into that part professionally as a musician. I was already in my early 20s.
Well, you've performed with a lot of different people, haven't you?
Yes.
Can we say Stevie Wonder?
Well, that one is so funny. I haven't performed with him technically.
Okay.
So I toured for a few years. I still do shows with her, with the queen of percussion, Sheila E.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And through a show that we did during COVID, actually, Stevie Wonder was brought in virtually. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, so I never had that chance, but he is somebody that I would love to perform with. He's definitely one of my bucket lists. He's our living legend, one of our living legends. So that would be one I would love to perform with.
Well, your voice is amazing.
Thank you so much.
It's just amazing. So how do you feel when you were up on stage and you were performing and connecting with the audience? I mean, there's a lot of magic going on.
Absolutely. I feel so, especially with, the folks here at Berks. The love for music really
absolutely here, right?
Gives us so much to feed off of.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I love it. I love there's such a beautiful musical community that gives us the love and the energy, and that just makes us, want to give it back even more.
It sure does.
So it's a very special. But I've always felt like it's a I'm drawing a blank on the word, but it's a very much a give and take in
Yes.
that, in an exchange of energy.
There you go.
When we're on stage and sharing our music and our love and the people that are receiving it, it's a very beautiful exchange.
It sure is.
Yeah.
A Shade of Jade.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
I'm so proud of this record. A Shade of Jade is, even though I have 5 other records out, this is the first album that I wrote all the lyrics and I co-produced the album. I had never done that prior to this one. And so I'm very, very proud of it. These are songs I've kind of had written in a book, many years ago. And they've kind of just been sitting, and I kind of took advantage of COVID, honestly. I had written about 4 of the songs were done. And during COVID, I completed 6 more. And so, in a way, it's a COVID project, but not fully, but sort of.
But it allowed you and gave you that time and the space to do that, and focus.
Absolutely. So yeah, I could say it's a bit of a COVID project.
Yeah.
And I'm just so proud of how it came together. I got to give a big shout out. He's an amazing musician and a producer I worked with. His name's Carnell Harrell. He's based out of Los Angeles.
Okay.
And he just believes in me, and he's really supported me having this vision of wanting to complete this music. So he helped arrange all the music, helped me just put my words, bring them to life. And I really don't think I'd have this project if it wasn't for him, really, believing in me and supporting me that way.
Well,
so
that's great to have that. And it's great to bring this to fruition, isn't it?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And there's something different. Although I've had these wonderful projects, I did this vintage soul project. I was in a band called Rebecca Jade and the Cold Fact. We did 2 albums. They're fantastic records.
Oh, yeah.
And they were written by other people, and the band. It's a beautiful. 2 beautiful projects. I did a whole Cole Porter album because I love jazz. Yeah. And I did my very first record. It's kind of like a neo. It was my first project, so I was kind of I was just grateful to have something out, but I didn't write any of that. So having this record that it feels like my first record in a way, because I'm so connected to it, and there's just something different when it's like yours.
It is different, it's birth.
Yeah.
It's like a child.
Like it wouldn't exist if it wasn't for me finally going like, okay, I want this done, so
got to do it.
Yeah, whereas these other projects were like, share your voice and we'll do the rest, so there's also very much a learning experience, because I had to be like a quick example was like getting the song mixed. I sent it to an engineer and he goes, do you have the ISRC codes? And I'm like, what is that? It was such a learning experience for me to be like, I don't know what that is, but so I'm so grateful for not only the project, but having gone through the process.
Yes.
So it's a very special record. I'm very, very proud of it.
A lot of growth there and
Yeah.
expansion.
Yeah.
So I hear you like to ride motorcycles.
I do.
What do you ride?
I actually I have 2 motorcycles.
Okay.
The one I ride mostly though, I'm a Harley girl.
Oh,
so,
All right.
I have a beautiful. I ride a V-Rod, which is a cool bike. They actually don't make them anymore.
Okay.
V-Rods were co-made with Harley and Porsche. Actually.
Okay.
So it was the only one where they it's like a hybrid motorcycle.
Right.
It's the only one that Harley kind of co-created with another, maker.
Yeah.
But I love it. So I ride, but I also have my first bike was actually a street bike.
Okay.
So what they call the crotch rockets,
Oh, yeah, right. Somehow
I have one of those too.
I can see you on both. I can absolutely see you on both. I can see you enjoying that too.
Yeah.
So let me ask you one other thing too.
Sure.
We've been talking to a lot of the artists on a podcast we've been doing and on these interviews. What makes you happy?
Oh,
I think I have a good idea, but what else is there in your heart that makes you happy?
gosh, that's a good question. I think it evolves as we get older and kind of go through experiences.
Yeah.
it's a trip. I feel like I'm like kind of living my dream. I think that's like in a way that really makes me happy. Kind of like achieving goals makes me happy. I think something like having, you know, I remember I have a list of on my mirror in, you know, in the bathroom as I'm brushing my teeth, and it used to be, it's an old list actually. I need to update it. Okay. But you know, it was about like wanting to travel the world and share my music.
And what are you doing?
I'm traveling the world sharing my music. Yeah. so like seeing, like having dreams come to fruition, you know, and like able to be like, oh, it's like, well, I'm here and I have a busy summer coming up, and I'm just so grateful. And I feel like, and seeing people who really resonate with my music, you know, because that I think was also another reason it took me so long, is because I was like, I don't know. At first I was like, oh, I don't know what genre I should do. And after a while I had to be like, no, put out music that you love. So if I love it, I'm hoping somebody else will love it. And it seems that's been working.
And it makes sense, and it is working.
Thank you.
So I'm so glad that you're here.
Thank
so glad
you.
that we're going to get to hear you perform.
Thank you.
And see you out in the world, wherever you end up being.
Thank you so much.
And just continued success with everything.
I
know you still
appreciate
play
it.
a little basketball.
I
too.
do. I do. Just a little bit.
Hop on that bike and then go sing.
Right.
You know? I can just see this, you know?
Yeah.
I can see a whole animation series.
Right.
You know?
I like it.
Can you
like
see it?
I can.
I can see it. Thanks for taking time today.
Thank you for having me, Diane. I appreciate it.
And thank you for joining us at Berks Jazz Fest.
Yay.